everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Blue Castle Pod. I'm your host, Molly.
And I'm your other host, Sarah.
And this week, we have a fun one in store because we just got back from Disney World and we are going to tell you guys all about it. We had a really fun trip. Yeah.
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 It was pretty good. It was pretty awesome. We talked about it in our pre-trip episode. So if you haven't listened to that one, might be interesting to listen to that one first. We recorded that one about a week before our trip, and then now we're recording about a week after. So it's been a while since we thought about what our original plan was, and we're just going to go ahead and tell you what we actually did. And I think a lot of the things we touched on in the pre-trip we did, but the order got a little jumbled, mostly just because either we had to pivot because of external circumstances, but honestly, I think a lot of it was just because we were just going with the flow. We were just, going where the magic called us. So we answered the call.
Another thing that helps with making sure you go with the flow is flying standby, because you have to go with the flow on standby, and that really sets the tone for the whole trip when you have to rearrange everything from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, we knew. So again, I'll give context because maybe not everyone has listened to the last few episodes, but I work for an airline, and so I get free flights standby, but so does Molly, because I've made her my companion in my benefits. And so our flight that we were aiming for was the first nonstop from Dallas to Orlando on Thursday morning. Molly flew in Wednesday night, no problem, very easy.
And for context of that, Molly flew from Salt Lake City to Dallas the night before, just to get me a little bit closer to Orlando and to get us to Orlando as fast as possible. That went off without a hitch. Got on the flight I wanted nonstop. It was beautiful. Ate Whataburger in Texas. How iconic. So fun. And then that's where the flights going according to plan ended for the whole trip.
Yeah, so Molly had a good old time on Wednesday night, and then it kind of got chaotic Thursday morning. Spoiler alert, it got even more chaotic at the end of our trip, but we'll get to that later. But this is where it always kind of can get really hectic. You show up to the airport thinking maybe you have, what it said, when I last checked, I think was 8 seats empty in our original flight at like 6 something a.m. And that one got sold out. And then the next one was sold out. And then I think they were sold out for the whole day.
The flight we were originally trying to get on, the 6 a.m. or whatever, out of Dallas, nonstop to Orlando, it had I would guess about 80% of the plane was a middle school marching band. And they were really cute and kind of awkward. But my heart sank a little bit when I saw that many people were going to Orlando for an event like that, because they're so much less likely to miss their flight. Not that we ever want anyone to miss their flight, but when you're on standby and there's 0 seats available, you kind of want someone to miss their flight.
Yeah, you want them. And I mean, right now there's same day standby for customers of the airline I work for. So they would easily just roll over to the next available flight. And so it would be no harm done really for them, and it would just be nice for us. The other thing is I can normally ride jump seat, like with the flight attendants, if there truly are 0 seats and if no one else has claimed jump seat yet for that flight. But with Molly, she can't do that because she's not an employee. So we really were like, oh no, we were really counting on somebody missing their flight. And for everyone that misses their flight, that's even worse odds for the next one. Anyway, we talked to a wonderful customer service agent. Her name is Joyce, and she was amazing. She basically said, you little children, you have no idea what you're doing, and you should fly to Tampa, and you should get a rental car or find a shuttle that'll take you to Orlando. And at first we were like, that's silly. That's so dramatic.
It was so early in the morning. I hadn't had coffee yet, or my coffee hadn't hit my veins yet. So when this CSA or customer service agent said, do you guys want to go to Tampa? I immediately was like, no, we were going to Orlando. I wasn't rude to her, but in my head I was thinking, oh, she thinks we just could pivot our entire vacation. No, she was just thinking pragmatically about it. it's like an hour and a half from Tampa to Orlando. And if we had tried for Orlando, I don't know if we would have made it because there were standby people rolling over and the flights looked awful.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good. And she basically, you know, baby stepped us through the concept of you could fly to Tampa and you could rent a car. Or she was pushing the shuttle more, which I was not totally digging that. I was like, if that's what we have to do, that's fine. But I would rather kind of control my own destiny a little bit more than that. And we looked and it was actually cheaper for us to rent a car and split the cost than to each have a shuttle ticket. And we wouldn't have to wait on like the less frequent bus shuttle trips, whatever. So that's what we did. We got on, like, as we were talking to her, she's like, yeah, they're boarding right now behind you. Like literally the gate right across from the gate we were already at.
And there was no one on standby.
Yep. For us, that was like, it set the tone for the whole trip because we're going from thinking it'll be pretty easy to, oh no, we might not even get there today, to you're getting there, but you're actually going to go to Tampa and you need to figure out a rental car and you're going to get to Orlando by around noon. That was awesome. Like it was an emotional roller coaster, but that's essentially what we did. We rented a car through
Alamo.
It was great. The customer service was amazing.
Shout out to Alamo.
Yeah, I would definitely consider and probably lean toward using them again. Anyway, so we hit the road and the drive was pretty easy except for some weird traffic. Our drive ended up being just over 2 hours, I think, but all in all, we were happy. We were jamming.
If we had to do a spontaneous drive at the end of our trip, our spirits might not have been as high. But going into a trip, we were driving to Disney World. We were in Florida. We were cruising, listening to Disney tunes and strategically planning out our day. It was so fun. Like I wouldn't redo it any other way.
Yeah, and we even considered, we're like, oh, we have a rental car. This would be the perfect time to go to the character warehouse or, you know, to do anything a little more off-site that's harder to get to, typically when you don't have a car. And that was our plan for the majority of the ride until toward the end of the ride. We're both getting really hungry, but we wanted to save that room in our stomachs for Disney food. And I think we both had our hearts set on the chicken strips at Pop Century. So we decided to forego Character Warehouse, and honestly, it's probably a good move because we didn't need to buy anything. We're both trying to make this a cheap trip. So we skipped that, and we actually had to go. So this is the other thing I didn't mention on the rental car situation. We used the car care center, I think is what it's called, something like that, right outside of Magic Kingdom, like right there. And we dropped off our rental car there.
It's not labeled as like an Alamo or anything, but I believe they had like Alamo, Hertz, and maybe Enterprise or something like that. Like you could return or pick up, I believe, rental cars for any of those. I think they're all basically the same company. That was a great experience. That was easy.
Yeah, it was awesome. Signs were obvious. There's a gas station right there. So we filled up the little bit of gas we used. We pulled up into one of the spots where it said, you know, drop off your rental car here. A man came up to us literally as Molly was like still in the car, getting out of the car. And I think he helped us with our luggage. He's like, oh, I'll take you in the shuttle. He's like, where are you going? We're like, Pop Century. He's like, I'll take you in the shuttle right after.
I think he was going to get the keys. Like, I think that's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's all it was. And so then he took us to Pop Century and it was so fast. I literally looked at my pictures to see how long it took us. And from what I can gather, we went under the Disney World sign in our own car at 12:22. And we were at our door at Pop Century checking in at 1 o'clock. So that was 38 minutes.
It was really fast and painless. I mean, if we were really in a time crunch trying to get to a reservation or something, it would have been a little bit of a hassle, obviously, to fly into a completely different city. But we did like the cost analysis afterwards. I think it was $80 for the rental car, $10 for gas. And then like we tipped the shuttle driver $5. So when you divide that by two, $50 each, it would have been about 50-ish total probably for a Lyft or an Uber.
Yeah.
So per person, we paid $25 more, but we got there so much earlier. And you have to remember, we paid $0 for flights.
Yeah.
So not bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And we checked in and our room was great. I think you noted when we walked in, it smells so clean because it did. It was just very like
You don't want your home to smell that clean, but you do want your hotel room to smell that clean. I like a very, very clean hotel above all else. I don't care if it's small. I don't care if it's super updated, but I want the sheets to be white with no stains. I want the bathtub to have, no questionable corners of crud buildup or whatever. And this place was spick and span. For it being Disney's cheapest or one of the cheapest resorts, it is super duper clean. They don't slack in that department at all. Disney's really good on keeping their quality high, even in an area that it's not bougie, it's not deluxe, it's not extravagant, but it's clean and they're respectful of their guests. That's what I think about it.
Yeah. What was your first impression of Pop Century? Because we've seen it from Art of Animation, but we haven't really walked through it in depth like that before. And we were in the 80s section, yeah. 90s, Rubik's Cube. Yeah. So what were your initial thoughts?
I thought it was really cute. I like all the little touches. I like all of the memorabilia, I guess you would say, and like larger than life fixtures of cool things that I guess are emblematic of different decades. It's really cute. I was born in the late 90s, so I don't really like look at a Rubik's Cube and think, oh, the 80s. I look at a Rubik's Cube and I think that's always been around. So
yeah, it's
cute, but to me it almost seems like it's just scattered with random stuff because most of it I don't associate to a specific decade.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point because I have the same thing where I'm like, I cannot tell for the most part which era is which.
Like if you asked me what decade was the big wheel tricycle made, I would have absolutely no clue. But is it thrilling to see one that's like 10 times my height? Probably more than that, honestly. That thing was huge. Yes, it's super cute. And it's really, it makes me giggle. Like I love seeing all that, the giant foosball tables, the giant Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. I have no idea what decade they're from, but they're cute.
And the reactions, we saw so many little kid reactions to those oversized things. Just like that's who they made that stuff for. I mean, they made it for everyone, obviously, but the little kids were the ones who were just eating that stuff up. So yeah, it was really cute. I think my first impression was, I get it. I get the hype. It is very cute. But honestly, I couldn't help but be like, I still prefer Art of Animation. I couldn't help it. I just like it better. I love the IP, the intellectual property, aka the Disney specific characters. And there is some of that sprinkled throughout Pop Century, but it's not the theme. The theme is like this era of time. And then if there's a Disney thing from that era of time, that's incorporated.
Yeah, I was really trying to convince myself on this trip that I was a Pop Century girl. I'm not. That's okay. I was jokingly calling Art of Animation Fart of Animation because we kept seeing it from across the Skyliner. And my heart loves Art of Animation, I would say, quite a bit more than Pop Century. But I had to fake it till I make it and convince myself I was a pop girly.
Yeah, I mean, the pros of Pop are that you get all of them are standard rooms. And for us, we generally don't want a suite. We want a more affordable standard room.
Well, we want a suite. We just can't afford a suite.
Well, yeah, that would be great. If it's not worth the cost, they are quite a bit more expensive for us. I mean, it would make sense if you had a big group like we've done once before. But yeah, what we were saying basically is the theming is just so amazing at Art of Animation. It just, even though the food is basically the same, almost everything about it is the same other than the theming and then the rooms.
Honestly, it takes a lot of audacity for Disney World to call like All Stars and Art of Animation both value resorts. They're leagues apart. The layout is similar, but like Art of Animation is in a top contender position for my favorite overall resort. Like,
which that led us to the conversation of, is there any type of overhaul of the theming on the horizon for any of those resorts? I don't know, but I mean, it is outdated, but they've also refreshed it. So it doesn't look crusty. It's just like timing wise, like it's not as relevant. Like there are characters and references.
They continually refresh things. Like they were painting some of like the figurines and stuff while we were there. They refreshed them in that way, but they haven't done a theming overhaul of the grounds that I know of. They've renovated the actual guest rooms, the actual hotel rooms, which is more important to me, but I think it might be due for an overhaul. I hate to say it. I know people love Pop Century.
Yeah, and we had the same reaction later on to All Stars, but I'll hold that a little bit. Okay, so we're at Pop Century. We're thrilled to be there. We basically set down our luggage and we go right back to the lobby, and
because we're hangry.
I was not hangry, but I was hungry. I was like on cloud 9, but also like this is about to be made even more immaculate because I'm about to get chicken strips. And when we were in there, we spotted the beautiful resort mugs, and we went back and forth, and we had quite a hard time. I don't know. I can't think of how to describe it, but you know that feeling of, you know, that you said you're not going to do it and you shouldn't do it, and it doesn't really make sense, and you can convince yourself it makes logical financial sense. And I blame Molly. I said, I'm not going to get one. She said, well, if you don't get one, I'm not getting one.
I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. And then, basically I felt like, well, I don't want to be the reason that you don't get one. And then you're going to be sad the whole time that you didn't get one because I didn't get one and I wanted one. So anyway, I got the pink one. Molly got the like aqua blue.
They were, what, $23 or something like that? And we got our money's worth out of these. Honestly, I drank a lot more beverages out of this than I would have gotten fancy coffees. We were kind of thinking before that we weren't going to get the resort mug, and instead we were going to get, you know, nice coffee drinks in the mornings, like every morning, and that would be a better cost benefit. But when I was there, fancy coffee didn't really sound that good. I've got like...
No.
I think I got one fancy coffee, and then the rest of the time I was just making regular drip coffee in our hotel room, and that hit the spot just fine.
Yeah, I had 2 fancy coffees and 1 fancy matcha. So I knew that that's kind of what I was going to want more. But I will say it's like warm enough there and humid enough there that a rich coffee drink like that doesn't sound as good and doesn't sit as well whenever it's that warm. Whenever you could have the alternative of like the blue Powerade or the vitamin water or just a water with lemon or something. You know, there are a lot of options that are hydrating or refreshing from the resort mug that tend to actually like sound better. And we made a concoction for this meal that, well, I made it, and I can't remember what we named it. We dubbed it something like the resort mug mocktail or something, but it was like a part vitamin water, the blue Powerade, and a little bit, just a splash of the lemonade. And it was super good. And then as the ice melted, it was almost better because it was not quite as overly sweet, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah. We drank a lot of that mixture that Sarah just talked about. We drank a lot of Powerade and water, of course, and water with lemon juice packets in it that they have at some of the resorts, but we watered them all down. That's a hack too. If you're going to be out for the day or something and you're resort hopping, bring your mug. You can get half Powerade, half water all day, which is great because the Florida water tastes a little wonky and you're on vacation. So who wants to drink straight water the whole time? But Florida heat, Florida walking around a lot outside, that gives me a headache personally if I don't stay super hydrated. So having the resort mug was key to keeping hydrated.
Yeah, I think it made sense for us only, like, even though it was a really short trip, it made sense because we were resort hopping. That was like our primary thing, other than like a few other things sprinkled in. But because we were at resorts so much, we were able to try the different drinks, and like different ones have different options. Some of them have the freestyle machines with like a million options. So that made it kind of fun to get to look at, oh, like this resort has this instead of that, or it doesn't have, you know. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, like it's a fun way to get in water. We didn't really do soda that much. I think we each got like a Coke once or twice, but like those freestyle machines having the different flavors of unsweetened sparkling water. That kind of stuff is so fun. A great way to hydrate when you're on vacation, make it feel a little fancier.
I don't regret it at all. I do think next time we go, I'll probably bring an old resort mug and just have it be my like I like the size of it and the weight of it. It's just perfect, and you can hook it onto a belt bag and it doesn't even feel like it's added any weight, and I can just fill it up with water if we're not like at a resort a lot. I may end up buying another resort mug because Molly may guilt me into it or something. But the next time we go, we're going to be with our parents, and they're frugal folks, so maybe they'll help me be strong.
De-influence us. Another thing about the resort mugs, and then I'll be done. Don't put coffee in them. They can be thermal. They're kind of designed for hot liquids if you want. They're made out of plastic, so it's a little weird. But the reason I don't put coffee in mine is I did that one time, and you will never get the taste out. You'll wash it with hot soap and water. You'll put it in your dishwasher. You'll try anything, and that taste will never fully come out. So if you want to get coffee at like your hotel's quick service and you got your resort mug, it comes with it. Don't pay extra for the coffee, but I would just try to remember to grab one of the like disposable styrofoam cups from the room and fill that. Okay, so then we got the chicken strips at the same time. We each got an order of chicken strips at the same time that we got our resort mugs, and they hit the spot.
Yeah, delicious. We sat outside around like near the main pool, just outside of the kind of cafeteria area at Pop, and it was a vibe. We were near the bar area, so we could kind of see people coming and going from there and hear all of the fun yelling and screaming from the pool. But it was just good, and we were so happy to be there, and it was a good time. And that's when
the weather was perfect. It
yeah,
was so nice.
The weather was so nice. But we started to kind of hatch our plan for the rest of the day, and let's see, what did we decide? I think we ended up just resort hopping around the Skyliner route, right?
Mm-hmm. We got right on the Skyliner after that. I don't think we even went back to our room for anything.
No, we already had what we needed. Oh yeah, we did go to the Skyliner and we got coffee at the Riviera because we were tired because we woke up at like 3:30 in the morning, which was like 2:30. Oh wait, that was like 2:30 in the morning
in Salt Lake City. We woke up at 3:30 in the morning Dallas time, which I was still in Salt Lake City time. So I woke up at essentially 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was definitely an early morning. And then we had the long drive and whatever. So we were ready for some coffee. So we popped over to the Riviera, and I got the s'mores latte with oat milk, and it was delicious. Very sweet. So if you don't like super sweet coffee drinks, maybe customize it a little.
I got some sort of honey almond cold brew, and it was really tasty. I enjoyed it.
And we really just checked out Riviera. I don't think Molly had you been there before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But we checked it out kind of maybe in more depth than we had before.
We spent a lot of time there. We were kind of very tired. I had a headache at that point, probably from lack of caffeine. So we sat in the lobby for a long time, and that place smells heavenly. So had a great time.
Yeah, it smelled good. There's great people watching. Oh, and we didn't mention, we ran into Daisy and Donald and Chip and Dale. Or was Donald there?
Donald wasn't there. It was
Daisy
and Chip and Dale.
Yeah, and we got a selfie with Daisy, both of us together. Molly took a picture of me with Daisy, and I was kicking myself because we had just finished taking the picture with Daisy, and then Chip or Dale, I don't remember, came up to Molly and was like kind of trying to interact with Molly, and I was too busy watching it and like reacting to it that I didn't get any video of it or a picture or anything, but that's okay. Next time.
They were so cute. I love seeing the characters in like hotels. We saw quite a few at we saw some at Pop Century. We saw some at, I think it was Art of Animation. We saw some, and anyway, we did a lot of resort hopping, and at different places we saw different characters, and they are so cute at the resorts because they're not rushing to get through a line. They will go out of their way to go interact with you, especially if you don't see them. Like, yeah. If you're not paying any attention to them, that's when they want to come talk to you. And it's just the most delightful little surprise, like jump scare when someone taps you on the shoulder and you turn around and it's Donald Duck. Like, how cute.
Yeah. And there were definitely times I was like, you can tell that they have a sense of humor for sure, because there would be times when Chip or Dale were like doing the most random stuff. There'd be like a column and they'd just be like pretending like they're hiding behind it and like no one's on the other side. Or they'd just be like leaning against, I don't know. They were just doing like weird, quirky stuff. And you're like, you're just silly.
One of them made a kissy sound in my ear, and it was definitely like not a chipmunk kissy sound.
You were like, that's suspicious.
Honestly, it took me out of it a little bit. I mean, they're so cute. They normally don't make any noises, and then all of a sudden to like hear the sound come out from the mask, I was like, that's a person that just did that in my ear.
But it's not a person, wink, wink. It's not. It's the real Chip and Dale, so they must have just learned
their lips weren't moving
from their human friends or something. Anyway, so Riviera was great. It was perfect because we had just eaten. We were getting our caffeine fix. We were chilling in a beautiful lobby with immaculate vibes. I pin traded there and got Thumper.
Yeah.
I think I let the lady who was manning the the pin trading board, I let her pick which one of mine that she added to her board. So she picked one from my stash, and then from there I think we went to Epcot and resort hopped around the Epcot area.
Yeah, I have pictures of Sarah being a cute little sailor at the yacht club.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we went into beach club and yacht club. We kind of creepily walked around the hallways a little bit just to get the vibe of each place because we haven't stayed at these places before. They're very pricey per night, so we're trying to set our sights on what our next deluxe experience is going to be, what we want it to be. And I decided, and I'm pretty confident in this decision, that I'm more of a beach club girl than a yacht club girl for sure.
Yeah, I like them both. I probably do lean beach club just because the colors are prettier and lighter. The yacht club is more moody and kind of darker navies and wood, like dark wood tones and things like that. So I do think the beach club, it reads more feminine and the yacht club reads more masculine. But I like them both. I think they're basically like the same probably quality of service, resorts, the location is basically the same. The pool is the same. And you could get to any restaurants easily from either or. But yeah, I think we both kind of decided the beach club is our vibe.
If you think about just the layout of beach club, yacht club, and even the boardwalk, I think that those three resorts are significantly closer to each other. Like from end to end, you can walk it much more easily than you could walk the length of any of the moderates.
Yeah, definitely.
So
condensed.
Keep that in mind if you're trying to figure out, hey, are we going to stay at a deluxe or we're going to stay at a moderate? Oh, there's no other rooms at the deluxe beach club, but we have to stay at beach club because that's where our friends are. You could stay at yacht club and be very close to your friends. They're essentially the same hotel.
Yeah,
they're like in the same building.
Literally attached. All right. So we liked that. We enjoyed hopping around there. I don't think we bought anything. I think after that, we just headed back to Pop Century on the Skyliner, of course, our favorite mode of transportation. And was that it?
We ate at the Riviera. That's the night we got the grilled chicken sandwich.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we did. We went back toward Pop Century, but on our way back, we stopped at the Riviera. We had mobile ordered a delicious chicken sandwich with some type of like creamy artichoke type of sauce. Artichoke, is that right?
It's like either an artichoke or a spinach or like it was a
greenish creamy sauce.
Really, really good. We split that with a side salad because we both had our fill of chicken strips and fries for a late lunch. So we were just craving something light before dinner or before we go to bed.
And that was actually cool. We accidentally like made a little bit of a magical moment. A family came over of 4. It was 2 grandparents and their 2 little boys, and they were going to try to make that 2-person table work. And I said, you guys are welcome to take this table. It's just my sister and I. We'll trade you and no big deal. And they were super grateful and just like they were exhausted being grandparents, having dealt with their grandkids. And he was like, yeah, they're kind of a handful. And so that was kind of nice.
That family was so cute. I invented a backstory for them. I don't know if this is true or not, but in my mind, the little boy's parents were going on a date at Topolino's Terrace, and the grandparents had set it up and said, hey, we got you this reservation. I know with these two little boys, you never get any time to yourself, so we're going to take your boys tonight, and you guys go on this nice date. And I had this whole happy family vision in my head for them. I hope they had the best trip. They were so cute.
I'm pretty sure that's actually a common thing, inventing backstories for people. But if you haven't tried that, it is super fun. And doing it at Disney World is actually amazing because you almost give yourself fake magical moments by being like, oh, they must be having like doing this or that, or, you know, whatever. Like in Molly's scenario, she made them into like saints of grandparents and just like super magical already. And so, yeah, it's just a funny little thing that we sometimes do.
Well, also their reaction to us doing a relatively small kind act made me think they were really good people.
Yeah, they were definitely
not entitled at all. Very sweet.
They were giving, I'm a good person.
And we love that.
And we love that for them. Okay, so we walked from the Riviera to the Caribbean Beach Skyliner stop and then rode it from there to Caribbean Beach to Pop Century. So we wanted to get a little flavor.
Because the Skyliner was broken.
Oh, you're
the Skyliner was down from the Riviera to Caribbean Beach. No biggie, not a huge deal, but we pivoted.
Yeah, and it was good because Molly hadn't seen Caribbean Beach, I don't think, really, other than from the Skyliner before, right?
Yeah, it's cute. I think when I was walking around it, I was like, yeah, I could imagine myself staying here. And now in hindsight, I'm kind of like, nah, it was nice. I don't know if it wasn't giving anything special, but it was nice.
Yeah, I do like I think their food, their quick service looks good. And I want to try Sebastian's Bistro. I've heard that that's like gotten revamped since COVID maybe. And so it's much better than it was before. Anyway, so I would like to try both of those. We thought about getting dinner at the quick service there, but we ended up choosing the Riviera. And I like it too. I think for me, the biggest plus of it is the Skyliner, and the biggest negative is that you can't really be guaranteed that you're going to have a great location to get on either Skyliner, so you may end up walking a lot. And if you have a good location for the Skyliner, it may not be a great location for the quick service, so on and so forth. So I think it's like a great place, and I know that they're renovating rooms, and I think the new renovations are really cute. But yeah, I kind of agree with Molly. It's like a cute vibe, but it's not like particularly special or unique, I guess.
I think the moderates are kind of the forgotten resorts almost, because if you're there on a budget, you're going to go to the deluxe resorts when you're resort hopping and daydream about being rich and bougie. It's not as fun to go to a moderate and be like, ooh, what if we were upper middle class instead of just regular middle class?
And they kind of have a purpose, I think, of just absorbing a ton of people. They're just really big. You know, they're cute. They're good. They're nice. They're not a deluxe, but they're also not as affordable as those values. So to me, I think that's why we never stayed there. Like, we either want to be like balling out or like saving a lot of money.
Yeah. We're not people that just go moderate every time. That's not us. We're like, if we save a ton of money this time, we can go ball out next time.
What else? That evening we went to our room and did we watch Happily Ever After, I think?
We watched a few things in the room, and it kind of was blurring together because that's what we would watch something as we fell asleep. One night we watched on the TVs in the room, they had a like professional recording of the Disneyland Paris fireworks show.
That was really cool.
That was super cool. It was partially in French, partially in English, which is kind of fun to hear like Buzz Lightyear speaking French or whatever. Makes me want to go there to see it in real life. And then another night we watched the live action Little Mermaid.
Not the newest one, but the one that's part live show. I don't know. It had Ali Carvalho as the lead.
The voice of Moana?
Yes. The voice of Moana, and now star of Mean Girls.
It was cute. It was good. It wasn't as good as like the new live action Little Mermaid. It was not that high of professional quality, but it was super sweet. And Jodie Benson was the person who introduced it. She was the original voice of Ariel in the original Little Mermaid cartoon. And I just love how she stands behind her work and she's so proud of it. And you'll see her supporting all of her other Ariels.
Women supporting women.
What a queen.
Wait, mermaids supporting mermaids. Okay, so that was Thursday. It was a great day. All in all, I think we felt like we really did it. Like we got to Orlando and we had a really full day. Like we got there and we're fully on Disney property by 12:22. So, and I think we got to bed at a really decent time because the next day we actually let ourselves, we didn't set alarms, I don't think, or anything like that, but we had some big plans.
Sarah was my alarm clock. So Sarah woke up at her body's natural callings, and I woke up when Sarah woke up.
I mean, I wanted to get out there. It's so easy to wake up when you know your day is going to be amazing. It's hard to wake up whenever your day is not going to be particularly fun. Okay, so I woke up at, I don't know, it was like a normal time. It was, I think, like 7:30 or something. So we knew this morning that we wanted to go to Blizzard Beach. We knew it opened at 10, but we were also for sure going to take it easy this morning. So we did. We took it easy. We woke up around 7:30, but we had a very slow morning.
That was the morning, I believe, that you went and brought food back to the room. We split the waffle bounty plate that has the egg, sausage, bacon, potato barrels, or tater tots for the rest of the world, Mickey waffles. And you got back to the room. And listeners, I know you're going to feel for me in this one. She didn't bring back syrup for the waffles or ketchup for the tater tots. And I could have dealt with any one of those things. Just one of them, I could have dealt with it. But she comes back completely sauceless. So
I'm sorry, I had no sauce.
So I ate some grapes in the room. We'd gotten an Instacart order, which I should say, we got that the night before. Super easy to place the Instacart order. The one bit of advice I would give is in your notes to your Instacart dasher, put your first name and last name. That way they can actually leave the food with Bell Services. I guess because it was just a first name, they weren't supposed to take it. Anyway, my order almost got canceled because my phone was on silent and they were calling me and I didn't know. But it ended up being fine. We got a lot of fresh fruit and that hit the spot a lot. We got probably the largest container of grapes that our shopper could have found, even though I requested a small one. So we were just feasting on grapes every
really
morning.
Good grapes, so it worked out.
They were. She knew what she was doing. She knew what we needed more than we did. Mm-hmm. So we were splitting a lot of meals and supplementing with fresh fruit, which is a great hack to make sure you can eat whatever food you want. Eat that greasy fried chicken, whatever, eat whatever you want, and don't feel like absolute crud afterwards.
Yeah. After I failed in the sauce department, we went back to the main lobby area, and Molly got all of the sauces she ever needed, and we just finished eating there. Then we headed out. I think we were all dressed and ready to go, right? To go to Blizzard Beach at this point.
Yeah, I think so. And we went to Animal Kingdom.
We went to Animal Kingdom. Yeah, so we actually got the bus to Animal Kingdom. I was right in the pre-trip, and I hadn't even heard that before. So I love it when natural, common sense really works out and was accurate, because I knew that Animal Kingdom was really close to Blizzard Beach, and it would make sense for that to be the connecting spot to get to Blizzard Beach. And so we took the bus to Animal Kingdom, and then we transferred and we went to Blizzard Beach. And by the time we got to Blizzard Beach, it was literally about rope drop. There were people kind of just going through the line or about to, a couple of kind of school groups, but really it was pretty calm. And we got in line for the customer service and were able to get our kind of IOU ticket, or a pass from last year whenever we went to Typhoon Lagoon and got rained out. So we got those, that for free, and it was pretty quick, and we went right in and we just explored.
Blizzard Beach is so cute. I might be completely messing up on the lore of it, but what I think it's themed after is Arendelle, the land of Frozen, after it gets unfrozen and everything melts. So it's there is snow on stuff, fake snow on the rooftops and stuff. And it really feels Scandinavian, Norway-ish. And there's it's very much mountain and snow themed, and it's just kind of funny that everything's melting. Like, oh my gosh, it's a ski shop. Oh my goodness, it's a yurt in the middle of 90-degree weather with water slides. So it was really cute.
Yeah, it was cute. What I'm reading right now doesn't mention anything about Arendelle specifically, which makes sense because there was not really anything Olaf, or I didn't see anything about the sisters or anything like that, but it definitely gave that Norway kind of vibe. It was very, very cute. I loved the theming. I definitely preferred.
I feel like if they had called it out as being frozen, they would have had to put a lot more effort into the refurb, but it feels like a subtle nod.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely preferred the theming of Blizzard Beach over Typhoon Lagoon, but they were both great. I think the man we talked to at the bar said Blizzard Beach has a much smaller capacity, which makes sense because it's the one they typically use over the winter months, so it's not going to be nearly as popular. And Typhoon Lagoon is much bigger.
Yeah, he said pre-COVID they used to overlap and run both of them at the same time, but it just like hasn't been necessary, I guess, since COVID. They only do one at a time now.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know how much detail we really want to go into. Maybe I'll just call it a couple of highlights for me from it, and you can call it a couple of yours. Mine, immediately, it was the ski lift to take you to the big slides. We jumped right away onto the most dramatic drop of a slide there was. Very high up, and it was, I think, the only ride that has gotten me legitimately nervous in a very long time. And I was like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. We're going to do it. Just get it done.
And Sarah went first, and so I couldn't back out after that. But man, that thing was more fun than I thought, and it was less rough than I thought. But that is a wedgie machine.
For sure. Well, and the scariest part of it, to me, like, roller coaster, never scary because I trust the machine that holds you in. But in this case, it's one of those things where you are literally just sliding down a slide and there's nothing holding you.
No tube.
Yeah, no. I mean, even tubes aren't really giving me any form of, safety, but it's just one where like I'm up really, really high. And if I like decided to just like flail my arms and legs, who knows what would happen. So anyway, it was a little spooky, but it was super fun. And I definitely felt the adrenaline, and we immediately went right back up on the ski lift. But that was probably my high of the experience, honestly.
It was a lot of fun. I was thinking the same thing you were thinking when I was up there. They say like cross your legs, cross your arms. There's all these things you're supposed to do. And I think like I'm very much paralyzed by fear. What if I accidentally uncross my legs in like an instinctual moment? What will happen? Will I just like get water lodged into my
nope
regions?
Nope. We're not going there. Anyway, it was a good time. The other ride I really, really liked was it's like the family ride. It's one with like a really giant inner tube. That's the one I think I would have wanted to go on twice if we had known that the line would get long later and that it would be a favorite. But it was almost like
Cali River Rapids or any of the,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of theme parks have them, I think. It's like those rides that are typically not at water parks. They're typically at like regular theme parks where it's a water ride and you're all sitting facing the inside and you might get wet, you might get splashed. There's some drops, and usually like half of the people get soaked and half the people don't get any water on them, except this was at a water park. So you don't care if you get wet, and everyone gets wet because the tube is like in the water.
It was definitely my favorite. And what was the other thing that was nice is that it was meant to be like a family ride, but they let just 2 people go. So they let it be just Molly and I.
I don't think they did that. I don't think they would do that later in the day. I think it was because the line wasn't too long yet.
Yeah, kind of like the Skyliner. But I think that it was super nice for me personally because it's just awkward. You're all in swimsuits and you would have to be like sitting next to strangers in very little clothing and like sitting cross-legged in this little thing. I don't know. I think it would have just been weird.
No judgment on anyone for what they wear, but there were some women who had more confidence in their swimsuit tops than I ever could.
Yeah, especially on some of those more intense rides. You're like, okay, they're going for it.
Like, how are you not popping out of that thing? But power to you, I guess.
Yeah. Did you have any highlights from a ride perspective? And then we can talk about our little snackies.
For the same reason that you talked about how much you like the tube with just being the 2 of us instead of being loaded with other people. It can be awkward to be standing next to other people, like wet in their swimsuits feels oddly personal around strangers. For that same reason, I loved the ski lift that takes you up to the 3 tallest water slides, really, because usually for water rides like that, you're gonna have to be standing on stairs, waiting in a line on stairs with your butt literally in a stranger's face because they're a step below you. And I loved that you didn't have to do that. You could just wait on regular flat ground, spread out. The line was not awkward at all for the ski lift. And then you just got to sit with your own party and get taken up. And there was no awkward swimsuit waiting on stairs. Kind of a random niche thing, but I appreciated them for that detail.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people aren't really interested in water parks just because of that awkwardness factor. It is kind of just a weird thing. But honestly, once you get there and you're just kind of doing it all, you don't even really think.
You see all different kinds of shapes and sizes of people's bodies, and no one cares. It's like you might be self-conscious of yourself in your swimsuit, and then you get there and you're like, oh, literally no one's paying any attention to me. This is fun.
Exactly. And so the other thing I wanted to touch on was each of the little treats that we got ourselves. I got the s'mores churro. There is a theme. I tend to love s'mores things. I love marshmallows. I love graham cracker. I love chocolate. I love the combination of it. And it was so delicious. It was kind of different because it came in like a long hot dog type container, but it was a bunch of little short churros stacked like side by side with each other. So instead of being one long skinny one, it was like even more food than what I thought I was paying for. And it was loaded up.
And it made it a lot easier to eat too, because it was already in bite-sized chunks. So for sharing a churro can be kind of weird. It's easy to like split in half a regular churro or something, but when it's covered in a bunch of toppings, that gets difficult. So I appreciated the bite-sizedness of it because I had some of Sarah's s'mores churro and she had a couple sips of my little snacky poo.
So I mean, I loved mine. It took a little while because they had just opened up and they were like just starting to cook things. But that meant it was super fresh when I got it. And it was perfect because Molly was sipping on her little drink. So tell everybody about your little drink.
I have some regrets about my drink in hindsight. It was good. I got a frozen strawberry daiquiri from I don't know which pool bar it was. It was the one that was right next to the lockers. I thought about getting a pina colada. This whole trip, I was like, I'm going to get a pina colada by a pool. But I kept picturing this pool being the pool at Pop Century. So when it came time and I wanted a little drink, I decided to get a strawberry daiquiri instead of the pina colada because I was saving that. I shouldn't have saved it. There were a couple times that I decided to not get the Mickey Premium ice cream bar because I was saving it for later. Don't save it for later. If it's on your bucket list and it sounds good, get it. Just because it's not exactly how you pictured it or where you pictured yourself eating it, that's stupid in hindsight. It's stupid of me. Because now, looking back on the trip...
That's stupid though, Molly.
But looking back on my trip, it's full of regrets. Just kidding. It was a great trip. But I didn't get my pina colada and I didn't get my Mickey bar. And that was like 2 out of the 3 things I wanted to eat.
And there were other opportunities for you to get it later, but then it didn't sound good at that time. Like the Mickey Premium bar is mainly what I'm thinking of. You're like, well, I could get that, or I could get this cupcake that sounds better to me right now. And so
get what sounds good, but don't like wait for the perfect scenario for all the stars to align because it rarely does unless you want to eat the pulled pork nachos while you watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks. That scenario works out every time.
Yep. Always slay. I love it. Okay, so that was Blizzard Beach. Anything else you wanted to mention about it before we move on?
No.
Okay.
I have nothing.
Okay, amazing. We loved it. We left, I don't know what time we left, but we felt like we had our fill for sure. I think we were there for about 4 hours, so it's probably about 2 in the afternoon. And we were getting hungry, and we knew we wanted to eat at the Mara. We talked about this in the pre-trip. We wanted to get the little healthy but yummy bowls that we had heard about before from Emily on TikTok.
The Mara is the quick service at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yes. And the other kind of weird thing that we learned at Blizzard Beach is their only direct bus to Blizzard Beach from a resort is at Coronado Springs, which is very close by. So it kind of makes sense. But we're like, why are you special? But that was the case. And so that would have actually logistically made more sense for us to go visit Coronado Springs because we knew we wanted to visit it at some point that day, kind of in that area. But we were so hungry and we knew we wanted to eat at the Mara. So we decided We're going to go to Animal Kingdom, connect, through Animal Kingdom to get another bus to Animal Kingdom Lodge. So that's what we did.
Another thing to note is that we brought full changes of dry clothes to the water park, which is a game changer. That means that you don't have to necessarily go back to your room to get dressed. You don't have to go on a bus wet. I didn't check how much the towels were. You can rent a towel, and we probably should have done that. That would have made more sense, but we just dried off with paper towels in the bathroom like the cheap
we
girls
didn't
we
even
are.
know how much they cost, and we were like, not doing it. I will say one thing on this that I was like, why didn't we think of this at the time? So I had a cloth tote that was just like canvas tote, but it wasn't waterproof or anything like that. And I was like, why didn't we just ask for one of the plastic Disney World classic merch bags to keep like our swimsuits separated from all the other stuff so it didn't like soak through? I don't know why we didn't think of that, but slight regret because it eventually did seep through my bag, and so it kind of was wet on me like throughout the day.
I just did some research on how much a towel would have cost. It's $2.
Nice.
We went through so much effort to avoid literally $2. We could have shared a towel.
We should have just done that. We should have done that, and we should have asked for a plastic bag. And if they said, sorry, no, you have to buy something, it would have been worth it to buy some little trinket, or I could have, gotten an ornament or something. And
gum.
Yeah. Anyway, so those are some regrets. If you do have if you already have like a plastic merch bag or any type of plastic bag, or if you're smart and you literally own and bring like a wet bag for your swimsuits, if you're going to try doing something like this, definitely recommend that.
Our groceries were delivered in a plastic bag. And I remember saying, Sarah, do we need this for anything? And you were like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so either. And we threw it away. But that would have been perfect.
Yeah, it would have been. Anyway, so we got to Animal Kingdom Lodge. Beautiful as always. The Mara was, we had to look up how to get there because I can never remember. It's always like not where I expect it to be for some reason. Like the pool is not where I think it should be. I think it should be like directly opposite the entrance, beyond that big window. It's not. That's like the animals space. Anyway, we found it and we got the bowls. I got the combo shrimp and chicken bowl, and Molly got the chicken, and we were both
It was so good.
so happy with it. Delicious. I think if I went back, I would choose just the chicken or just the shrimp from a cost saving perspective / it was more of like the protein than I really needed, but I wanted to try both. So it was delish.
Yeah, I think we both got ranch packets because I just anticipated it needing more sauce, and like looking at the bowl, it looked like ranch would go with it, which is so Midwest of me, but it didn't need it at all. We didn't end up using it. It has a great like tzatziki sauce and a lot of like fresh greenery in it, which doesn't sound that enticing, but it's a really good combination of a lot of fresh ingredients seasoned really well. Super tasty and exactly what you want to eat after a water park day when you're feeling kind of like hot and you've been wet all day. You just want something like light and fresh, but also filling and satisfying. It was all of that.
Yeah. And it was a great vibe. We sat outside again, and it was delicious. We kind of checked out Animal Kingdom Lodge. We'd been before, so we didn't spend a ton of time there. We did look at the shop.
So I think the only time I had ever been to Animal Kingdom Lodge before this trip, I think it was always during the 50th Walt Disney World anniversary time, which meant that the smell that was pumped throughout Animal Kingdom Lodge was not their traditional smell. They're back to like their signature scent. It smells like leather and like kind of fire, and which don't smell bad. They have a place, but I don't really want like the whole building to smell like it. It doesn't scream luxury to me. So if you're wanting an experience that feels somewhat like authentically African savanna-ish, Animal Kingdom Lodge might be closer than you'd think. It's not actually authentic fully, but it tries. I personally prefer the scent before, which that's probably going to make me sound terrible, but that's for that reason. And the reason I didn't like smelling it, and it was very strong to me, going and staying at Animal Kingdom has actually fallen significantly further down on my list of resorts I'd like to stay at. And I hate to say it because it is a vibe.
I will say I highly doubt the rooms people stay in smell like that. It's really just the lobby. And it really was like there's a legit fire crackling in kind of near Boma. But anyway, that was just something to note. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't remember it being like that. And I think it was because all of the resorts had the 50th scent take over, and that scent had kind of been lingering while they were still kind of getting rid of the last of it. And I think the new smells the original smells really have taken back over. So just something to note. So after Animal Kingdom Lodge, we went back to Animal Kingdom in order to go to Coronado Springs. So Molly, what were your first impressions of Coronado Springs?
So first impressions of Coronado Springs were, first off, that tower. I don't know what it's called, but the tower.
Gran Destino
Tower at Coronado Springs is beautiful from the outside. The bus kind of does a big lap around the whole grounds, I guess, of Coronado Springs. And it's very big, very, very large. We wanted to get off at a stop kind of close to the Gran Destino Tower because we wanted to walk to that, but also wanted to kind of get a feel for the grounds. And it was really nice. The pool, like the small pools throughout were really cute and like not super themed, but they felt very peaceful. There were some very cushioned like hammocks along kind of a sandy area. We saw a lot of little kids playing, but it wasn't too crowded. The vibes were great. It was kind of close to sunset at this point. And then we went into Gran Destino Tower, and oh my goodness, that is beautiful. Beautiful. Like Gran Destino Tower.
I told you.
It went from being not on my radar at all of places I would want to stay. Didn't know it from a hole in the ground, but now I do.
Are you from Oklahoma?
I am from Oklahoma. But now it is like teetering very close to the tippity top of my list of places I want to stay at Disney World. Very, very deluxe feeling for a moderate. I think it's probably closer to a deluxe in price, and rightfully so.
Yeah. Gran Destino Tower, I think itself is. And then the rest of it is like, it is more like Caribbean Beach, where it's just sprawling, spread out, lots of little individual buildings that are all kind of like little motels. So, but yeah, I mean, I had the same first impression of Gran Destino whenever I saw it last summer, and it made a big impact because it is so pretty and fresh, and it smells amazing. I mean, we talk about smells a lot, but I mean, it really did smell great, and it's just like intricate. Like there are a lot of beautiful details. The music is such a vibe, and just relaxing. And yeah, we sat in the kind of the lower level of the lobby there, not up where people were checking out, but just downstairs. We sat for a little bit, and
we kind of explored some of the conference room areas a little bit, not like in the conference room area, but it's a big conference center. And at first I was thinking, wow, what a dream it would be to get to go to a work conference at Disney and get it all paid for. But then the more we thought about it, we were like, oh, that's such a drag actually to be like so close to all the things you want to do, but not actually able to enjoy any of it because you're learning about like spreadsheets or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like the space was nice and very well done. But yeah, I don't think I would want to go to a conference there. I think it would just taint it a little bit for me. But we did walk from Gran Destino Tower over to like the original main lobby, which is now kind of repurposed as just like a chill out spot with a lot of charging places and stuff like that. We checked out their quick service and their store over there a little bit and just kind of looked around. We refilled our resort mugs as per usual at their quick service. And then I think we got a bus and headed out of there. We went back to Animal Kingdom, and then we went to All Stars.
Oh my gosh, that was such a long day. I forgot about that. We just kept not going back. And remember, we have like chlorine wet hair. Not wet, but like, you know how you feel after you get out of the pool and you just want to shower and you kind of smell like chlorine and it's like kind of itchy. That's how we were all day.
Yeah, and I do think I would have definitely packed differently and planned differently for this day had I known we were literally not going to be back until late that night, because yeah, we just kept adding things, because when you get there, you realize, okay, we're over on the Animal Kingdom side of things. Let's just see all the resorts that are over here. And it's kind of easy just to go back to Animal Kingdom and then popped over to somewhere else close. Like, that's really the most efficient way to resort hop over there. And we were like, we're here. Let's do it. And Molly had never seen it before, wanted to kind of check it off the list as a place that she got a feel for in person, got to see. And so I think we started at All-Star Movies. Yes.
Yep.
Looks like movies.
All-Star Movies, which has so much potential. I've never been to All-Star Movies before. I'd never been to any of the All-Star resorts before. The impression that I had had from TikToks or whatever was that All-Star is cute. It's very cheap. And it's where like all of the people that are there for cheerleading competitions stay. And that is exactly the impression I got. Cheap, cute, lots of very small cheerleaders.
Yes.
Especially at All-Star Movie or All-Star Sports. But All-Star Movies, the ideas are so cute. Like, they have a Toy Story section, which I think at this point is timeless. So cute. Everyone wants Toy Story, I'm guessing. That's precious. Like a giant Woody, giant Buzz. It stood the test of time. Every kid knows Toy Story, even now. But the main area is Fantasia. And Fantasia's creepy. There's like a really freaky Jack in the Box guy who I don't like at all. Like,
she would absolutely not stop hating on Jack in the Box the rest of the weekend.
He's an Uggo.
New fear unlocked.
I didn't like him. I didn't like the creepy like ballerina doll thing or whatever that was. I didn't like the Mighty Ducks area because they were just giant hockey masks, which reminds me of Scream, like a horror movie.
Molly is scarred by All-Star Movies.
101 Dalmatians was cute.
Yeah, so two of the spaces were cute. Toy Story and Dalmatians.
Did we eat at All-Star Movies?
I don't remember which one.
Our burger was really good. It had like jalapeno on it, and what all did it have on it? It was really good.
Some kind of jam, like
it was like a bacon
jalapeno
jam.
Bacon jam, yeah, something like that. It was very yummy, especially for like an all-star quick service burger. I mean, I wouldn't say it was high quality, but it was definitely tasty. And we split that and it was super good.
Yeah, and then we perused the rest of the All-Stars. I don't even know if there's like highlights or lowlights to talk about. They're all kind of the same, just slightly different themes. Other than that, All-Star Sports had like small armies of children in cheer costumes chanting. I'm glad we didn't stay there. I don't think it's on my bucket list to stay there.
Yeah, I mean, they are cute. If they had a Skyliner route, it would change the game for sure. But anyway, so that was our All-Stars experience. We definitely had walked a lot by this time of the day. But I think instead of going home, we decided...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we kept extending this day. Instead of going home, we were like, what are the fireworks tonight? Oh, should we go to Epcot? No, we shouldn't go to Epcot. Let's go to Magic Kingdom. And so we went to try to catch the Magic Kingdom fireworks, and we were at the All-Stars, and we took the bus to
Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, Hollywood Studios. And then we were like, what are we doing? We should have taken the bus straight to Magic Kingdom. That's when we decided to pivot and try to go to the fireworks. We ended up at the
Poly.
The Poly. Yeah, we took a bus from Hollywood Studios to the Poly. We did some weird stuff. And then we were trying to watch the fireworks. We took the monorail and we got to the entrance of Magic Kingdom and we watched like the second half of the fireworks from outside at the entrance of Magic Kingdom. And it was honestly great. Like,
we missed part of the fireworks because we were on the monorail, but seeing some of the fireworks from the monorail was super cute. We were actually trying to get to the Contemporary to watch them from like a viewing platform. Did not make it there. But watching the fireworks from right outside the gates, like, that was very, very magical. It was not crowded.
Yeah.
Super cute. I mean, the Main Street vibes of Magic Kingdom continue through the front entrance.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like we were in it, honestly.
Yeah, and what was kind of fun too is the energy outside of there was electric. Huge fireworks. I mean, you're as close as you can get without being inside. And it just like the energy was fun. So we kind of failed on what we attempted, but it was fun that we tried. So yeah, we watched those and
then from there, I keep thinking we went back to Pop Century, but from there I am confident
we actually went back.
Right after the fireworks ended, we went right to the bus and went to Pop Century, which was great because behind us there were just legions of people flooding out of the park to go to the bus stops. So actually being outside of the gates gave us a great advantage over everyone in the park of getting to the bus and not having to wait. And it was kind of crazy when you get to the bus stop out of Magic Kingdom. I'd never seen it before, but every single hotel has an empty bus ready to go to take people back, because right after the fireworks, they know that's the mass exodus. So it's like all hands on deck. It was very nice.
I knew that was the case, but I had never seen it myself. And that was kind of cool to see. By the time we got home, it was probably around 9.
That shower felt so good.
Yeah, we showered finally.
We also got a banana cupcake on the way in from the quick service. That's like the Pop Century's that's
good.
Their signature dessert, or one of them, I guess. And I'm not a big banana person. I don't know if Sarah, are you huge into bananas?
Yeah.
It's basically a regular white cupcake with buttercream frosting, but it's filled with real banana puree filling or something. It was very, very tasty. It was not artificial tasting at all. Would recommend, actually.
Yeah, there were like chunks of banana in it. So it was definitely not like fake flavor. But yeah, that was really good. So, we got our showers, got all nice and cozy, split our cupcake, and watched some more Disney things on the TV and went to sleep. And it was a great, great day. That was a long one. Very full.
That was our most full day by far.
Yes. All right, so Saturday. What did we do on Saturday, Molly?
We slept in a little bit, and by that I mean Sarah slept in, therefore I was allowed to sleep in.
Okay, what was crazy is I woke up around like 6:30 and I was like, it's too early to like actually get up. I probably shouldn't. And I slept in till like 9:30. I was like almost sick to my stomach when I realized what time it was. I was like, we've wasted so much time of our Disney day.
I thought you were kidding when you said that, when you woke up and you're like, we wasted so much time, because we had literally talked about like it being a chill trip, like not being pressured to do anything or wake up early. Meanwhile, we sleep in by like 1 hour and Sarah's like, we slept in.
I quickly told myself, no, we must have needed it. We must have needed the sleep, because
I think we did. We had a very packed day the day before.
We slept in. It was great. We needed it. And I'm trying to remember what we did for breakfast this day. Beignets.
Beignets, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so we slept in, and then we got a bus to Disney Springs. I had my heart set on a matcha, and there's this tea place kind of over near the Christmas shop that maybe they'd have a matcha. Wasn't looking likely. We went there. It was a really cool store, and Molly ended up getting something.
I got a gift for my boyfriend. He's not really big into sweets, and he's not the biggest like Disney merchandise fan. So like if I bought him like a Mickey hat or a Mickey shirt, he wouldn't really wear it. So I got him rosemary, basil, sea salt. And it's so good. He cooked with it this weekend. We actually put it on our Chick-fil-A macaroni and cheese, and it was great.
Delicious.
He said that since I gave it to him, he's put it on almost every meal that he's cooked, and he loves it. So that's a life hack. If you have someone in your life that's not overly Disney and not like a huge sweets person, it can be hard to think of something to bring back for them. And this tea and sweet shop, they have like a bunch of loose leaf teas, as well as just any cool seasoning that you can imagine from like around the world, I guess. They had a lot of stuff I'd never heard of before. Very cool.
Yeah. Molly said tea and sweet, but I think she meant tea and spice. It was...
Oh, yeah.
Lots of spices. It smelled very fragrant when you walked in. What was fun is the guy who worked there, whenever I asked, do you guys actually make like matcha lattes? He said, no, unfortunately we don't, but I did just try the brand new lavender latte from Starbucks. It's really good. I highly recommend it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to order that, a mobile order. Molly was still kind of poking around at the time. I was like, I'm going to mobile order it and just head right over there, because I didn't really want to slow our day down, but I knew it was backtracking a little bit, but I was like, I'll just do this because she's still kind of searching. So it worked out great. I went and picked that up, came back, And then we headed to
Port Orleans. Or Port Orleans. I'm always self-conscious of how I say that. We got a bus to Port Orleans, and Port Orleans feels
most
better.
people say Port Orleans. Yeah.
We got the bus to Port Orleans, and we went to the French Quarter first, which is a strange mixture of being so cute and also so creepy. I'm sorry to people who love Mardi Gras, but you're the little jester, like the creepy jester with the like hat with the 3 points on it, with the like demonic smile. Not a fan of that, for the exact same reasons that I don't like the big figurine in the Fantasia area of All-Star Music. That's not my vibe. However, the Frenchness of it all, like the way the buildings look, like the kind of cobblestones, the cute alligator figurines playing their instruments, all of that, very cute. Love it.
Yeah, I love that resort. I think that I had low expectations of it going into the first time I saw it, and it really is just actually so cute. And I like that it's pretty compact, and you're basically guaranteed to get a decent location as far as being close to the transportation and the dining lobby, etc. So we really enjoyed that. Our beignets. So we did get beignets for breakfast, just the classic beignets with the salted caramel dipping sauce, and they were delicious.
Yeah, we split a 3-pack. I think you can either get a quantity of 3 or 6. Splitting 3 beignets amongst 2 people, it would not have been a very filling breakfast. It's kind of like eating, just like a donut. It's basically exactly what it is. We also supplemented this with fruit. Most of these meals where we say we split, we supplemented that with maybe a banana or half split a banana, and then like grapes or a pear. Or we had multiple fruit options. So that was a great way to make our money go further. And also, again, not feel cruddy because you only had donuts for breakfast.
Yeah. And I was still sipping on my matcha at this point, and it was so good. And it was really sweet. I was a big fan. So we had our beignets, and then we headed we just walked along the path along the water over to Port Orleans Riverside. What was your first impression of Riverside, Molly?
It's giving Southern Plantation, but they won't say it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really pretty and definitely meant to be like the South.
It's charming, but also you're like, ooh, I don't know about. I mean, it's really pretty and really well kept. All of the little standalone kind of motel rooms, if you will. I mean, they're all motel rooms, kind of. They're designed to look like a mansion with a very grand front entrance. It was very nice. I would rather stay at French Quarter personally, which is hard to say because I do find those like jester things really creepy. But I think I like the architecture a little more. I like the vibe a little more. And I like that it's closer to other transportation and like it's compact. It's just, you're going to get a good location there. Riverside's a lot bigger.
Yeah, it's pretty spread out. That's really my only hesitation with Riverside, because I do think I like the look and feel of a Riverside a little bit better. I really like French Quarter, like I said, more than I originally thought I would. But I like them both. I'd be happy to stay at either. I would just be really hoping that I wasn't super far from everything, specifically transportation and food, if I stayed at Riverside. But I wouldn't be worried about that if I stayed at Port Orleans.
In reality, I'm not super drawn to any of the Disney Springs area hotels just because I'm not drawn to Disney Springs as much as some other people are. It's cute. The shopping's good. It feels a lot more hectic and chaotic, but it's not really overall my thing.
Yeah, I do like Disney Springs. I think there's sometimes when it's overwhelming and just too hot, too many people. But when we were there, it was busy, but not too busy. And it was warm, but not hot. And so it was definitely a comfortable time to be there, I think. We checked out Riverside, the lobby, the store. Very cute. They have a really great store in there. Probably refilled our resort mugs, if I remember right. And then we got a boat back to Disney Springs.
And did we eat then, or did we go to Old Key West?
I think we ate. So we went back to Disney Springs from Riverside. We were getting hungry at this point because we had had fruit and beignets, so we hadn't had any protein. So we went to chicken guy, and we split a kid's meal for our little appetizer because Molly had never had it before. I loved it whenever I tried it last time, and we just kind of wanted to get a little taste test of that, and it was delicious.
Very good. 5 out of 5.
Yeah, we got the garlic parmesan and chipotle ranch, I think, something like that.
They were both really good. Yeah.
As our 2 sauce. Yeah, it was a really affordable little kids meal. Honestly, just one of those kids meals. That's still the strips themselves are pretty big, and they give us like a huge helping of fries. So that was delicious. Then we headed over to, what was the name of the other place we went? Pepe by the guy who does Haleo.
Pepe by Jose Andres, and it was so good. We got like it was like a Spanish Philly cheesesteak almost, with like, I think there was some peppers in it, some onions, cheese, and like, I think it was ribeye. It was so good.
It was delicious. I was stuffed after eating that. And we also tried the flan, which was good, not great.
I don't think we like flan. I don't think I should hold it against that flan. So if you like flan, get it.
Yeah, I don't think it was the flan's fault. And so at this point, we are full. We're, fat and happy, living our best lives.
And then after we ate at Pepe, delicious, 5+. Actually, I'm going to give it a 4 because I didn't love the flan. If all we had was that ribeye sandwich thing, it would have been a 5. Then after that, we went to Old Key West, which I found incredibly charming. I thought it was so cute. I didn't expect to like it. I've been told it was kind of like a retirement home in the vibe, and it kind of is, but it's super charming. It's like the first Disney Vacation Club resort. So like everything there is supposed to feel like home, where like they have an entryway kind of where from floor to ceiling, all the walls are covered in 90s era old school pictures taken on film from the 90s of families in their adventures at Disney World. And it seemed very clear that these were like the pictures on the walls around us were of the original Disney Vacation Club members that signed up when that first became available. And I don't know, it was cute. You could tell that like they were trying to make it feel like home to these people. And they always say welcome home, but this really felt like it was more geared toward actually feeling like home than the new DVC things they're building.
It really did feel a lot more like, this is somebody's like vacation home more so than like this is a Disney resort. It felt secluded and cozy and personal.
I think it maybe reminded us of our childhood at the local Oklahoma country club we went to. It was not extremely bougie by any means, but like there's a pool, there are tennis courts,
yeah, and
people are just kind of chilling. Like it felt more like a community somehow. I don't know if that's even true.
Yeah, and because of the retirement home aspect.
We also saw quite a few older couples that looked like they were like empty nesters on a vacation with their best friend and his wife, like, just like a double date vacation of 65-year-olds, because they probably got DVC when their kids were young 20 years ago. It was kind of cute. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, we liked that. We decided to skip Saratoga because at this point we were kind of like, we had seen what we'd wanted to see. It would have been like forcing it to go to Saratoga, and it didn't sound particularly fun in the moment. So we went to Magic Kingdom again. We did a redo of the fireworks.
We had missed part of the fireworks the night before on attempting to make it to the Contemporary, and we did not want to risk that again. So we decided to take a bus to Magic Kingdom and do the monorail loop from there, where we had plenty of time to scout out where we wanted to sit for the fireworks. Then we went to the Polynesian to eat, and we ended up getting those like Hawaiian Polynesian pulled pork nachos. And going to the Contemporary, if you go up to that main area, do you want to talk about it? This was your find.
Well, backing up to the Poly, we also got the Moana cupcake, which is just a tried and true, really yummy cupcake. So we wanted to bring that with us.
Very coconutty, which we both love, but I know can be controversial. Some people hate it, but if you love coconut, it's a very good coconut cupcake.
Yeah. So we went back to the Contemporary, and I had done some research and seen vlogs in the past about this viewing spot for the fireworks. And I knew that there were some vlogs where they had just been huffing and puffing going up these concrete stairs. And so I knew that was kind of a thing in the back of my mind, but I also knew there was like this more legit area to watch the fireworks. And there's a big balcony porch kind of area, and there's some chairs facing Magic Kingdom that you can sit at. And so we sat there and we had the porch nachos, and I was kind of like, okay, I think I'm going to actually scope out what the deal is with these stairs, because we're out there and you can see these stairs that are outside. They're definitely like emergency exit kind of stairs, but you can easily go up them. So I start going up them. The point is you can go all the way up to the California Grill fireworks viewing area, even if you're not going to the California Grill.
One of the biggest advantages of eating at the California Grill or at the top of the Contemporary is that you get that view for the fireworks show. What they don't advertise is you can just go up the fire escape and no one will tell you not to. Like, were we supposed to be there? No, but there was never a point where it said California Grill guests only. Nothing like that happened. So we stood up there. We ate our cupcake actually on the very top of the roof. Great view. And there are speakers up there so you can actually hear the music. And then around the time of the fireworks show, there's an announcement you can hear that says, hey, if you're eating here, we invite you to step out onto our rooftop to watch the fireworks. And like maybe 10 people came out and watched them with us. There's plenty of room, great views, very magical. Loved it. Yeah. You could see like the entire castle. Kind of a weird angle, but you could see the whole castle.
Yeah, the fireworks look like they're kind of over Space Mountain, which is more on the right side. And then, and so you can kind of see the separation that you can't really tell when you're actually in Magic Kingdom. You can see how far back the big fireworks are compared to the ones that are coming off of the actual castle. But yeah, that was kind of a redo of the previous night. Both nights were awesome in their own ways. The first night was very spontaneous and kind of chaotic, and the second night was definitely planned and we had plenty of time to get there. And so after that, actually, because we knew that we weren't kind of in a great position like we were the night before to get on a quick monorail, or not monorail, bus back to Pop Century, we decided to kill some time around the monorail a little bit more. So we went back to the Polynesian, checked some things out. We went to Grand Floridian, washed our hands at Basin. It was amazing. And then we made our way back over to Magic Kingdom on the monorail, got a bus back to Pop Century, and went to bed.
And that was the end of our last full day in Disney. Very magical. 10 out of 10 would recommend. The next day was relatively uneventful on the Disney side. We woke up, we went and got... The next day was relatively uneventful. We woke up. We both wanted different things for breakfast. So we ended up doing Sarah got Riviera breakfast. Little egg tart thing.
Yes, an egg thing. I can't remember what it's called. And it was good. It was yummy. And I think I also got the s'mores latte again.
Then we went back to Art of Animation, actually, where I got waffles and the breakfast platter because that's what sounded good to me. And that's when we went and greeted our Queen Ursula. We joke about our Queen Ursula because we stayed in the Ursula area, I guess the Ursula building, our first time at Art of Animation. So she has a warm, fuzzy place in our hearts.
Yeah, that was our first time ever staying on property, at least in our like recent memories. Definitely kind of our first core memory of staying at Disney World was with Ursula. And so
that was the first time we had let ourselves actually go to Art of Animation, which is right next to Pop Century. That was the first time we let ourselves go there since the trip started. I think we were kind of hesitant because we both knew that going to Art of Animation would make us dislike Pop Century more.
I think that was more you. I kind of already knew.
That's me.
I wasn't like trying to convince myself as hardcore as Molly, but yeah, that was whenever, like literally just walking up into like the big blue pool with the Finding Nemo theming, we were like, yep, this is the place. This is the vibe. This is a much cooler, just more us theming, which isn't the same for everyone. And so I think theming is just very personal, but it was great to say hi to our bestie Art of Animation and Ursula. I think the only other things that we really did this day...
Sarah realized her flight was canceled around the time of us leaving Art of Animation. And that flight being canceled means when you're on standby, you've got to get to the airport immediately because your chances of getting home just went significantly down. Luckily, I had bought a plane ticket on a different airline going home because I knew that the standby options didn't look very good. I was very grateful for having purchased that ticket when I did.
I had a much crazier time. I will say, so we both went to the airport at the same time. That wasn't the original plan.
I could have stayed at the hotel and chilled by the pool, which was the plan, but we already had to check out of our room because checkout time had come and gone. And I didn't really want to lay by the pool and get kind of sweaty.
Yeah.
And then have to get on a plane.
Yeah, which made sense. And I will say, while I was like stressing about all this flight stuff, trying to get my Lyft ride sorted out, Donald came up to me, surprised me, like while I was trying to figure all this stuff out. And I was like, oh, hey, Donald. And we had a cute little interaction. And it was the first time I was like, I actually like felt like I had a good conversation with Donald, even though he doesn't speak, but like we were understanding each other. But I was less like starstruck because I was so distracted by my problems. So that was kind of a fun send off, a way to kind of balance out the ensuing chaos that was the airport. But long story short, with the airport situation, I was able to ride jump seat home on not my original flight that got canceled, but a later flight that had been delayed a couple of hours. So it worked out, still got home at a decent time. And that was kind of the end of our trip. We both made it home at a decent hour, got back to our pugs. Each of us have a pug. And it was a great trip overall. I think it ended kind of wacky, but it was, I mean, we got a ton done. We definitely not the relaxing vibe overall that we were maybe shooting for, but honestly, I feel like there were so many things that we wanted to see and do that like you hadn't done or seen before, and that I'm always down to like, you know, keep moving and grooving. I'm not great at relaxing on vacation, so it was great for me.
A lesson that I feel like I learn every time I make this mistake, and then I never truly learn, like we didn't give ourselves a buffer day between Disney World vacation and going back to work the next day. And this trip was kind of a long weekend. It wasn't meant to be something that I take a ton of PTO for, and I'd already taken 2 days. So I didn't want to take another day just for a short trip. I, in hindsight, kind of regret not taking that Monday off just because I got to my house around 9 p.m. Not crazy late, but in the future, I'm going to try to force myself more to take that extra day of PTO between when you get back and when you start work. Going from Disney one day to work at 7 a.m. the next day, that can be a little brutal.
Yeah. I will say, I think that it was a really good length of a trip. Like we had a lot of Thursday, we had all of Friday, all of Saturday, and then a decent chunk of the morning on Sunday. So it didn't feel like ridiculously short. And I thought it might, because most of our trips are a little longer than that. So that was good. I do think if we had left on Saturday, it would have, in hindsight, obviously with flight chaos, it might have been better, but it definitely would have felt really, really short. So I'm glad we didn't cut it shorter than that. But I agree. I think a little buffer, if you can make it work on the Monday after or whatever, that would have been nice. But I thought it was a great trip, and I'm pumped that we have now, I think, both seen most, if not all, of the resorts. So next time we go, maybe we'll feel less obligated / you know, that urge to want to see the places that we hadn't seen before, and maybe we'll be able to relax a little better.
I think the only one that I haven't seen now is Saratoga Springs. So checking one off the bucket list is not difficult. I don't feel like I need to go see it anytime super soon, which is good because the next Disney trip we have planned, we only are going to be there for 3 nights, and we're thinking of doing 2 parks. Maybe not 2 full park days, but maybe like a park hopper pass and doing 2 parks in one day. And then we're going on a cruise, which is not for multiple months. So this will be our last pre or post trip pod in this official sense for a while. Maybe in the next few months, you'll hear more elaboration on things like Sarah's trip that she took for like a month to the Orlando area last year. We've got quite a few things up the pipeline and different kinds of ideas to entertain all of you. So thank you for coming today, and please tune in again next week because we're really enjoying ourselves. We hope you are too. This has been a fun thing for me, at least. I'm really enjoying it.
I definitely enjoyed reliving the magic of our trip. And like Molly said, we have some fun ideas of other things to talk about, and we may relive some even older trips. Who knows? Maybe we'll even try to get some guest appearances from our family. All right. We'll see you next time, Castle Dwellers.
Bye.